Hey, how you doing? Want to go over a couple things with you here. I found a really good site. It's actually a UK site, and it shows you a little bit more graphic detail than you may care, but this interests me quite honestly. It's fascinating. The foot is a very fascinating thing here. Now, I mentioned the medial longitudinal arch. You can see where it runs a lot clearer right here. Okay, the lateral longitudinal arch. This is the big toe, and you're looking down at the toes here. Okay, so you have the medial longitudinal, lateral longitudinal. Now, what a good orthotic is going to do is going to support those, and you really want that support. So it's incredible from an engineering standpoint. If you ever think about how an arch is the strongest part of any architecture, take a look. Very strong. So you don't have many bones there, and all of a sudden you're supporting the weight of a 200-pound man, 250-pound man, in some cases upwards of that, for long periods of time. So it's quite an incredible thing. Now, when you lose the arch integrity, say it's from one of these bones, the navicular right here, the calcaneus. This is your heel bone, otherwise called a calcaneus. Here's the talus, tibia. I don't think you really know what the medial cuneiform is, but here's your first toe, here's the big toe. So it's just a little reference point where you're at. Medial longitudinal arch, very, very important. This is a cadaver study here. Again, maybe a little bit too graphic for you, but this is the outside part of your foot. Here's the little toe here. Maybe it's a little bit easier to see over here. And what you see is the calcaneus, the talus, and the tibia, and that cuboid bone. Now, the cuboid bone we call subluxate. When that's subluxate, you need more support, and you have to work on the subluxation by restoring that cuboid bone to its proper location between the fourth metatarsal so much and the calcaneus. All right. You also have what we call the transverse arch. I'm get to that here. They don't really consider it a true arch, but listen, it supports the bones here, the cuneiforms and the cuboid. You saw the cuboid on the lateral side, and you would have the navicular over here. So here you go. It's a good lesson. Hopefully you understand a little bit more about arches and the importance, especially as it relates to plantar fasciitis. It's a hell of a necessity to have good support, and that's why an orthotic is important. And I'll talk more about that in this video. How you doing? I'm Dr. Brian McKay at Core Health. Today I'm going to talk to you about orthotics. Now, orthotics for plantar fasciitis may sound kind of boring, but it could help you solve your problem real quickly. So, hear me out here, okay? What you need in orthotic is basically support for, I'm going to give you a little education. Here's my handy dandy foot. Now, this represents the bottom of your foot. This is the medial, and this is the lateral. Now you have arches that go lateral, longitudinal arch, medial, longitudinal arch, and you have transverse arches. Okay? I'm actually looking for a pen to point out maybe a little better. So here you have the foot, you have the lateral or the outside. Okay, this is the small bone, this is your big toe here. And this is the medial longitudinal arch, and you have the transverse arch goes right across here. Now, if you have a soft orthotic, okay, like the Dr. Scholl's, conceptually this makes a lot of sense. It really do. But I just don't think you're going to get the support in your arches that you need to help deal with plantar fasciitis. And you really want to do everything in your power to treat it. So let's go over let's review a few types of orthotics, okay? These orthotics, believe it or not, run about $300 a pair, and they're just off the cuff. They are made on a machine. I found them to be very highly effective. Okay, a lot of stuff I'm telling you is because I've had problems and issues, and these made a big difference in how I stabilize my pelvis and help with my foot, my plantar fasciitis pain that I've also endured. So you see them, they're hard, they last forever, they really don't wear out. But at $300 they're a little expensive because for about $500 or $600, which is even more money, you would get a custom pair of orthotics. Now, let's go over custom orthotics for you. This is where you take a mold and you go to your podiatrist, physical therapist, chiropractor, and you would get a custom-made pair. Turn around. Work with me on this because I don't really, I'm not used to first exposing my messy office to you. But as you can see here, these are, you can't see they're custom-made, but you can see they're hard. They're solid, and what they're going to do is they're going to give support. And if you took the foot, let's see, wrong one. Okay, this represents the inside. This would be supporting the medial longitudinal arch. This would be supporting the lateral longitudinal arch. And if we come up to the side, you can see where it's going to support the transverse arch, which comes under here. Okay, hopefully you're seeing my, not getting too dizzy watching this. Okay, so those are, you have a custom, you have a not so custom, okay, but an effective one just the same. And then what I like to do is I like to put people initially in a off-the-rack custom. I wouldn't call it custom. An orthotic that's just off the rack. Okay. You'll notice thin, but also hard. The soft orthotics just don't do it for me. And I'm not a videographer, but I'm trying to get you some information here. My idea is you would start with these type of orthotics first. If you've listened to previous things I've talked about Super Feet, good brand, but they, now they're up to like $50, $60. These are like $30, and they would do just as well. And what happens here is we come over here, support. We're gonna put this foot right there. You'll see some support. You'll see where I feel it gives adequate support to the medial longitudinal, okay, lateral longitudinal, and the transverse arches. So you're going to get the arch support that you need, and it should take out most of the problems associated with a plantar fasciitis related problem here. Okay, so I hope you've learned a little bit from me here. I recommend you go with an inexpensive brand first. They can do the trick very nicely. I'd say most of the time you're going to get the relief you need with a with this off-the-shelf type of one. But again, I would prefer if you made it a hard insert. The hard orthotics just give a little bit more support to an arch. So the arch breaks down, you've got to support it, and the soft ones just don't do that. So I hope you're learning a lot here, and I hope you're going to get some relief for your plantar fasciitis. I'm Dr. McKay. Thanks a lot for listening, and forgive my messy office. I just wanted to get this wrapped up. Have a great day.